So I'm here to explain about the digestion in the bovines. And the digestion in the bovines starts from the mouth and ends from the rectum. And today we are going to explain how rumination takes place in bovines. So the cow, with the help of the mouth, wraps the tongue on the grass, and with the help of the lower jaw, with the incisors, tears or pulls the feed and is swallowed through the mouth. In the process of chewing, saliva is stimulated to soften the feed, and the feed is swallowed through the esophagus. The esophagus carries a bidirectional function. With the help of the waves of the muscle contractions, the feed goes down to the rumen. So the esophagus carries two functions, that is, taking the feed from the mouth to the stomach and from the stomach to the mouth when rumination is taking place especially. So the feed passes through the esophagus and swallowed through the rumen. The rumen is the largest stomach in the bovine, and the stomach of the rumen is the largest, and it comprises of microorganisms, that's bacteria and other microbes that help in the fermentation of the feed that has been taken up by the animal. So the rumen carries out different functions, that is, storing the feed that has been taken by the animal during grazing, and the other function is that it partially digests part of the feed. So from there it mixes the feed in the rumen and forms ball card and transfers it to the reticulum, the second stomach of the animal. And the reticulum, being the second stomach of the animal, and the reticulum is next to the heart and separated by the diaphragm. But for the rumen is in the right side of the animal, the left side of the animal, where the prolamba fossa is found when we are treating broth with the track and cannula, where we inject the track when we are releasing the broth, when the accumulation of gases have happened. So that's where the rumen is found, exactly here, where even the surgery is performed. So the rumen is found on the left side of the animal. So the reticulum, which is next to the heart and separated by the diaphragm, also carries lots of functions. So when the feed comes from the rumen, it goes to the reticulum, and the reticulum is like a honeycomb. It's referred to as a honeycomb because of its structure. Its structure is made like that of a honeycomb, and its main function, it traps the metals that have been taken up by the animal during grazing, and other hard piece metals, small metals. So it separates them from the feed and traps them in that honeycomb sort of. So it's in the main function of the reticulum. It also has the microbes which also carry out fermentation. Fermentation does not occur only in the rumen, but also partly in the reticulum. So when the metals are separated from the feed, that feed goes back to the mouth. It goes back to the mouth for regurgitation, that is for chewing cud. So the cud is chewed, and it is finally chewed by the animal. Then it comes back through the esophagus and passes through the reticulum and goes to the to the omasum. So the omasum, which is the third stomach, and it is referred to as the main lips. So it has a book-like structure, pages sort of, and it carries out different functions, and one of them, it squeezes out water from the feed and it absorbs the water. So the water in the feed, or that the animal takes, is absorbed in the omasum. So its structure also breaks down the feed. It also digests the feed and makes it it breaks it down to small particles, so it makes the feed more finer in the process of the digestion. So it absorbs the water, and then the feed is broken down into small pieces. So the feed goes to the abomasum, and in the abomasum, which is the true stomach, referred to as the true stomach, like that of the humans. So the abomasum is smooth, is the smooth stomach, and it's the fourth stomach. So the abomasum is where it has linings of glands, and that's where the gastric juice is secreted, so that the bacteria that have remained in the feed can be nurtured to balance the pH. So the abomasum, the gastric juice, and where the hydrochloric acid is released, and these other enzymes, digesting enzymes, are secreted. So through the abomasum, the feed is also digested, and with the help of the gastric juice, which has been released, and the enzymes break down the feed. So the feed continues from the abomasum. It goes to the small intestines, and here the small intestines, it is divided into three parts. It has the duodenum, the jejunum, and the ileum, which of them make different functions. So the duodenum carries the function of absorption, and the jejunum, it contracts, and it makes the intestine contract and extend in terms of when the feed is passing through, so that it can be absorbed. So the ileum digests and absorbs the nutrients such as the vitamin B12 and the bile salt. So most of the feed is absorbed through the small intestine. So that's the main function of the small intestine in the digestion. So the small intestine is absorbed. The small intestine absorbs the feed, the nutrients that are in the feed in the small intestine. So the feed continues and reaches the cecum. In between the small intestine and the large intestine, or the colon, there is a part called the cecum, and that cecum, it connects the small intestine and the large intestine. And in the cecum, part of the undigested food is stored there and is digested and is broken down into more fine particles, so it can be absorbed by the body. So from there, it continues to the large intestine, or the colon. And in the colon, which is the large intestine, the feed, also in the large intestine, the water is absorbed in the large intestine, and also breaks down the food. It also has some microorganisms there in the cecum and also in the large intestine, so that the breaking down of the feed can continue. So the feed is partially digested, and some of the nutrients are absorbed in the large intestine, which is the large intestine. And in the large intestine, what remains from the absorption of the water and other nutrients that have been absorbed, that's what we call the undigested feed, and the unabsorbed feed remains in the large intestine and goes to the rectum, which is referred to as waste, since it has not been absorbed. So that waste is sent to the rectum until the function of the passing out of the fecal matter is taken up by the body of the animal. So the four stomach chambers that we talked about, we said that the rumen is positioned in the left side of the animal. The reticulum is next to the heart. The omasum is on the right side, the other side. cranium to the rumen, and the abomasum is also on the other right side, but down the abdomen. That's where those are the positions of the stomachs. I think for now that is what we have to talk about the elimination. So when you look around, you have these animals, and they have been chewing cud. So they are carrying out the rumination process. So that means that the feed they are ruminating has been stored in the rumen. I think that's enough. Thank you very much.